reached
Cody
at 555-0122. Please leave a message at the beep.
Yo, listen, dude, I don't know what your problem is where you're going around sharing. But the thing is, it's like, you know, when you came up as a conversation and people started harassing you by sending me your that they would not have gotten if they weren't fucking hacking and stalking. All these people you're running to, like the fucking idiot you are, they are using you because you are attached to Portal. Let me be very clear for you, if you are listening to this right now, okay? The only reason anyone gives a fuck about Cody is because of Portal. And when this blows over, they're going to be on to the next fucking target. Meanwhile, you're the stupidest person on earth because you literally pretend like I paid you hundreds of dollars when I gave you a Portal from Amazon. You think me, after I built my Portal, you fucking come in and you think, what? I'm going to come to you for advice? Who the fuck are you? Cody. You've never built anything. And you're acting like you're entitled to some shit that you weren't entitled to. And this like sour energy, this energy you got because you don't get to say what happens in my is exactly why I keep people at an arm's length and I don't trust anyone because I can't trust anyone. Had I given you actual information about my you would have had no problem plastering it all over all these people's pages. And now I actually have a sigh of relief because of this, because as you start to run your fucking mouth, I knew I kept you at arm's length. So when they ask you very detailed questions about my personal, all you people can do is speculate. And that's all that will fucking happen. It's none of your business. You are nobody to be auditing anyone. And all you do is going to turn up at incomplete, wrong, false, or total speculation. Because that's all you can fucking do is grasp at fucking. But let me tell you this, if you were listening, I never did anything to you or your family to warrant this and kicking you out of a Discord because you had the audacity to post anything after we as moderators in a community of like 10 of us agreed that we weren't going to post any and then you fucking post and act like woe is me and you don't fucking know what you're doing. Bitch, don't play with bro. You knew exactly what the fuck you did, and that's what got you kicked out, okay? And you want to sit here and you want to play and twist that now that you got in with the mob that has been trying to cancel me and your fucking you dumbass, go right the fuck ahead. You can try to have my fucking spread all across the internet, but spread this too, bitch. Let everybody fucking know. Let everybody know that I paid you in not fucking money. I never came to you about my Let everybody know that was all you. And everybody's giving you a free If it wasn't for me, you would have zero fucking Don't forget it, bro.
And it's here we go once again, folks. Harmon Smith is salty over the fact that he won't get to play Final Fantasy XVI because it isn't coming to the Nintendo Switch, and he has no interest in gaming on anything that isn't his beloved tablet from 2017 that was outdated when it was released from a company that's past its sell-by date. Kinda like me. Let's get into it.
Today, Square Enix chose to release a damage control statement saying that Final Fantasy XVI is doing great. It is doing fantastic, and immediately certain individuals came out and said, oh man, this proves Harmon Smith wrong. Harmon Smith was proven wrong again. A Harmon Smith L.
Harmon, you take L's all the time because you just make these videos and don't do any sort of research, and when you just make claims without evidence, others are going to dismiss them without evidence. Furthermore, you say that Square Enix released a damage control statement. What about all those damage control statements that Nintendo has made in the past? Remember when they tried to shut down the Let's Play business? And when there was a general outcry over that, they immediately cried, oh, we love our fans! Complete bull pies if you ask me. And we want them to continue to do stuff like this, so unlike everybody else, we're not going to be flagging these Let's Play videos or striking them, or whatever it was that Reggie said. I guess that just didn't happen in the United States of Nintendo. Also, Harmon, watch not just my videos on you, watch the videos of anyone who reacts to you, and I promise, you'll find that you have been wrong on several things. Not all of them, but most things, and this is one of them, where you got it wrong. However, just keep this in mind because he'll be bringing something up very soon that only applies to non-Nintendo things. Nintendo is just so great that Nintendo doesn't need to worry about it.
Of course, this is ridiculous because we've all seen the numbers. We all know that Final Fantasy XVI is selling less than 15. We all know 15 was a disaster. We know that the brand is essentially ruined, right? It's dead, right?
And there it is, friends. The ugly truth. Final Fantasy XVI sold less than Final Fantasy XV, which was a disaster, apparently. Now, notice how he said that the sales were down for Final Fantasy XVI. funny because I seem to recall none other than Harmon Smith himself saying that sales don't matter, review scores don't matter in regards to Nintendo's titles and consoles, yet suddenly they do when it comes to anything and everything that doesn't have the big red Nintendo brand sticker on it, because of course that's how it works. Well, in the United States of Harmon it does anyway. But please continue on, Harmon.
And what Square Enix is trying to do, what they've been trying to do since the game came out, is try desperately to damage control the situation to appease shareholders. So you're not seeing a genuine, actual reaction to like, oh man, our game is selling so well. You're seeing like Square Enix like try and spin things so that like they look like the company is in a good position when in reality they're on the verge of death. Right?
Wrong. Square Enix is one of the largest game companies in Japan, and considering that Square Enix pretty much has a monopoly on the JRPG genre, I would honestly say that they are going to be doing quite well, especially when you factor in that they own Dragon Quest, which, in Japan, isn't just a gaming franchise, it isn't just a mainstream religion, it is a way of life, and Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest are just two of Square Enix's JRPG franchises. That's before we get into the World of Mana, the Saga franchise, Kingdom Hearts, even though Square Enix doesn't actually own that one, but instead just develops it, Tactics Ogre / Ogre Battle, Star Ocean, Front Mission, and Valkyrie Profile. Remember, those are just Square Enix's JRPG franchises. This is before we get into their non-JRPG franchises. Also, Cody, Square Enix seems to have struck a timed exclusivity deal with Nintendo, as it seems like Nintendo consoles get all the Dragon Quest games first before they come to the PC. Case in point, Dragon Quest Treasures.
Like, this is, I think, going to be the last time we hear any positive news from Square Enix, because going forward, now once we actually get some, once we get more information, once we get some more context, once people start realizing that they came out and lied to appease shareholders, once the illusion is dispelled, which is inevitable, people are going to realize that wow, Harmon Smith was on the ball right again. Harmon Smith was right. He's not just the Nostradamus, right? He's not just a predictor of Nick Rekieta events. He's also able to see the future in regards to Square Enix and video game trends and stuff like that.
And would you care to name these things you were right about, Cody? Or at least link them? Because from what I recall, you have been wrong on most things. And again, it's not like Nintendo hasn't done those same exact things, right? You do realize Nintendo lies to appease their shareholders as well, right? Maybe not as much, I'll admit, but they do lie to appease their shareholders when their sales are low. Also, don't ever compare yourself to Nostradamus again, Cody. If Nostradamus were to hear Cody Lee claiming to be the next him, or whatever it was Cody said, then Nostradamus would be spinning in his grave.
I am 100% confident, right, that Final Fantasy XVI did not do very well at all, right? It completely bombed, and we're...
Cody, my brother and Miyamoto-san, you say that everything, well, almost everything, that isn't made by Nintendo bombed or failed, and now it needs to be taken out back and put down, just like me. So, what else is new?
This is an issue, Square Enix just does not want to admit it, because admitting that their go-to brand, one of the biggest names in gaming, Final Fantasy, admitting that they ran it into the ground.
Yeah, Cody, I'm gonna need to see some verification on your end for that, because I literally just hit the end of a Google search list looking for Square Enix saying that they had run Final Fantasy into the ground, but I couldn't find anything. But I did find a Final Fantasy VIII Remastered page that, for whatever reason, took me to an Asian porn page or something to do with endless Asian lust. And since I am on my main laptop to make this video, I had to click off, which was a shame, but oh well. I can look up that stuff on my phone when I'm in the bathtub, too. You know what I'm saying?
Is essentially going to It's essentially them admitting that, like, they are done, that they are irrelevant, that they can't compete anymore, that they aren't competitive, that, like, they aren't going to make money, right?
In what way is that them admitting that they are done, irrelevant, can't compete anymore, and not going to make any money anymore? And the way you said that at the end has me wondering if you're all there, mentally speaking.
Like, they cannot admit that no matter what. Like, they will not admit that no matter what. And, like, this announcement does not surprise me. This was something that I anticipated. I don't know if I, like, directly, like, addressed this or not. I did see this coming, that, like...
Yeah, I guess we'll see, won't we, Harmon?
Square would try to downplay the situation, because we've seen them do this before with Final Fantasy XV, which I also addressed.
And just like with this, you were wrong, Harmon. Final Fantasy XV sold about 10 million units and is one of the best-selling Final Fantasy games, and Final Fantasy XVI selling 3 million units is pretty good for a third-party console exclusive. But since it didn't get anywhere near the sales that, say, Animal Crossing New Horizons and Mario Kart 8 got, that must mean it sucks, huh? Cody, face it, you want to play the game, but since it isn't on Nintendo Switch, you're coping and seething.
Right, with Final Fantasy XIV to an extent. Like, we've seen them do this, like, over and over and over again. Like, the brand has been in decline for decades now, and nobody wants to admit it. Even now, Square Enix is, like, desperately trying to hang on to, like, that last bit of relevancy they can in order to, like, try and get people to buy more PlayStations. Like, that is the situation we're in right now, is that nobody wants to admit that Final Fantasy XVI has bombed.
It hasn't bombed, Cody. The sales have gone down considerably, yes, but that doesn't mean it failed. But again, you're the one always saying that game sales don't matter and that review scores don't matter. Also, Final Fantasy hasn't been in decline for decades. Final Fantasy XVI sales just had Square Enix's shareholders worried because they felt like it underperformed. But what did you expect from a third-party console exclusive that is probably timed anyway? Also, Cody, I just looked it up and guess what? Final Fantasy XIV sold about 24 million units, or at least it had 24 million players, so again, not exactly a failure. Same thing goes for Final Fantasy 15 and 16. And since that is the end of Harmon Smith's video, that means I can finally get back to my nap. Toodles!